Dave. They had the biggest tour of their career. They made a lot of money. They did an album with Dave. It was a fantastic album. They got criticized for that. Then they did a tour to support that. And then they did a live album. The fans have been wanting a live album. They got criticized for that. They did a tour to support that. They got criticized. He says, you know what? I'm closing this cauldron. I just get that feeling. Like they got criticized for the tour, criticized for the live album, criticized for the album. It was ridiculous. I mean, we're obviously in this ridiculous culture where people are just ripping everybody to shreds on the internet. But, there was no reason for I love all the stuff that they put out. And you know what? Their whole thing is they're like, well, how much more are we going to do? Like, we really kind of got back with Roth and did it to the most that we've ever done. People wanted a live album with Roth. They got it. People wanted a tour with Roth with all kinds of album tracks. We did that. They wanted a new album. We did that. Like, what more do you want us to do? And they're not going to go back to Sam. Oh, that's not going to happen. Forget it. I mean, they don't want to. Dave is annoying for them to deal with, but Sam, I think they literally have absolute pure anger for, and he's really made a mess of himself in the press. As much as Dave is crazy and nutty, but he's not. He's never come out and like been as mean to Ed as I guess Sam was in a way, in sense of hurting him. But anyway. That's that, and Dave, Dave continues to talk in the press. So what does Dave say? So he was on this other radio station, KKLZ, on the Mike and Carla Morning Show, and he said this statement. Van Halen was a 70s band. We started off in 1972 and our first two albums were in the 70s. We sold our first 10 million records before the 70s were over. We spawned a whole lot of imitators who resorted to gimmickry and trade crap. It's easier to imitate a haircut and a kind of pants, to exhibit bad behavior as a way of... And then he went on to, I'm probably on your station 14 times a day unless it's Halloween or New Year's Eve. So what he's basically saying is that everybody copied Van Halen. Van Halen was the blueprint for the rock bands of the 80s, and everybody tried to be Eddie and Dave. That is without a question. What did you make of that statement?
I don't think he's wrong. I mean, I think it's very braggadocio, but
yeah, of course it was Dave.
Yeah, but I don't think it's wrong. I mean, their influence on 80s heavy metal, for better or for worse,
right,
is undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't take that away from him. And the other thing that I just want to quickly comment on is something you said before, where you were sure that Wolf was going to be the opening act for Van Halen.
Right.
I don't think it was that.
No.
What I think it was is that Wolf was going to do some kind of mini tour or something like that to promote his solo album.
Uh-huh.
And part of the deal was that they were going to ask the record company to pay for it like they were, but the record company would only do it if Van Halen would do a tour.
Oh, maybe.
So I'm thinking Van Halen does this, stadium or arena tour that we kept hearing about.
Right.
And the only way that Ed would agree to it, he would be like, okay, we'll do that. But then you also have to subsidize my son's
you think it was
debut
more like a
album
business package deal.
Right. Like, if you do this for me, then I'll do that.
Right.
Because I really can't see, Ed and Al and Wolf being the opening act and then being the main act. I mean, that's a lot. And most artists do not do that. And especially if you're Ed and Al, I mean, no disrespect to the guys.
Right.
But, when you're in the mid-60s and you're doing an hour and a half, 2-hour show.
Right.
That's enough.
No, but I don't think... I think Wolf would have had his own band. I don't think it would have been...
Okay. But still, if you're thinking whoa, well, if that was the case... If Wolf was the opening act, and then maybe they get Mike to play with Van Halen proper.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
With whomever the lead singer is, Dave, Sam, both, whomever, then that's entirely possible.
Right,
yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay, well, I follow you.
That's okay. So now Dave continues to make craters into the earth as with his comments as he goes on all these radio stations. He was on KSHE, a St. Louis radio station, where he started to take credit for a lot of things, and I thought he went a little over the line here. So he says this was crazy. So he says, I wrote every word you heard, every syllable, every melody. I structured out even the guitar solos on the first album. Why do you think the solos changed so radically? I sang the solos for Jamie's Crying and Running with the Devil. I designed the backgrounds on the stage. I came up with the album covers. I thought of the stripes on the guitar, and I'm the one who called it Van Halen. Now, I can tell you this. He's right on everything but two accounts. Okay? Yes, of course. He did the album covers. He did the stage design. He even named the band Van Halen. He did the lyrics. He did the melodies. And he co-wrote the songs. Absolutely. Now, you're going to tell me he wrote the guitar solos? I mean, you got to be kidding me. That's ridiculous.
Right.
That is insane.
Come on.
First of all, you're dealing with Eddie Van Halen, who is one of the most innovative guitarists of all time, if not the most innovative guitarist. And you're going to take credit for writing guitar solos with your mouth. I mean, that's... I mean, I know Dave's mouth can do a lot of things, but I don't think he can write Eddie's solos. That is insane. I also think the stripes, come on, that is so Eddie. First of all, Eddie was the one designing those stripes by hand in his own guitar shop.
Right.
I never saw a picture of Dave there when that was going on. Eddie was fiddling around in his house, designing his own guitars with tape and spray paint. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. Get out of here. Dude, come on. Too far, dude. Too far. What did you make of this, Dave? He's losing his mind.
I think he's getting ballsy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think what happens is that there's probably like a kernel of truth in that maybe Ed was like, I need to do something with my guitar. I haven't quite figured it out yet. And, Dave's like, well, I don't know. Maybe you can color it up, do some stripes or polka dots or something, right? So then next thing you know, he's taking credit for the stripes.
Right.
Which, by the way, Ed has copyright.
Yes, of course.
So you think Dave would be upset if that was an issue. And as far as the solo, I mean, come on. I just would be so hard-pressed to believe that Ed wasn't writing his own solos. I mean, did Dave hum something along the way where it's like, hey, Ed, what would really work in this song? And Ed's like, I think I can work with that.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I will never I wasn't there.
Right.
So what do I know?
Right.
I mean, could that have happened? Sure, that could have happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. I mean, there's been interview after interview after interview where Ed is describing how he comes up with solos, how he did the solo.
Right.
Guitarist magazines are always asking him, how did you come up with that solo? Sure. I mean, come on. He's the guitarist, for crying out. I mean, that is almost as insulting as Ed claiming that he was showing Michael Anthony the bass parts. I mean, everybody in this band seems like they're taking credit for somebody else's parts. I mean, what's next? I mean, is Al going to start telling me that somebody was helping him with the drums? I mean, come on.
No. And I could even see Ed leading Mike, not that he's doing it directly, but that maybe he's telling him what he wants. You know what I mean? Because Eddie's basically the musical director. So maybe he says, Mike, I want something like this. But I can't see Dave humming Ed's guitar. So come on, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so we're on to another thing. So we're back to Meltdown. Back to talking with Meltdown. Meltdown talks about the John 5 album. This is an interesting situation here. So this is from Detroit's WRIF, talking with Meltdown. When he was asked whether the California sessions would be released, Roth said directly, "It will. There's been a revision of things, and I can start making real plans and start marching into the future. And of course, you'll start hearing the material. This is material that we wrote variously for me solo and for Van Halen. It's quite a bank of stuff." And then he said his priority were getting out on the road first. But here's the thing. Eddie Trunk went on the air, and he's really good friends with John 5. he said that John 5 is no longer involved in that project. And he says, I really can't talk about it much, but he's been, like, removed from it. And I was like, what the fuck is that all about? So what I'm thinking, and this is just an opinion, is that maybe the material sounds like a little too acoustic, because originally that's what John 5 was talking about. And maybe Dave wants to rock it up a bit with his new band, and he wants to put out like a rock album. That's maybe what he's talking about. If you follow his words, there's been a revision of things. And then he said you'll start hearing that material. But that doesn't mean that album is coming out. He might be treating that album that he actually recorded with John 5 as a demo, and for his new album with the band. But I think he wants to get this band up and running. But Eddie Trunk said that once, and he sort of said it like kind of at the end of his program, and he didn't want to get into it. But obviously, I know Eddie's close with John, so something's going on there. And maybe that's why John was leaking clips, because it's not going to see the light of day.
That breaks my heart. I mean, that's got to break John's heart, too, because you know he loves that material.
Yeah, totally.
So much. And, I mean, that guy... He must be, I mean, he's just such a talent.
Oh, please.
And even that little clip we heard was encouraging.
Mm.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens. That wouldn't be, I don't think that's the first time that Dave has done something like that. I mean, I think he did that on his last album. I think there was some stuff. Well, I want to say like there was some stuff left over from like the DLR band album or something like that.
There was.
And he had
that last album, Diamond Dave. Which I think
right, and he had re-recorded a song.
Oh yeah, that's like a
with that
mix
band
of a million things. That album,
right? But I know John 5. Didn't John 5 also say it wasn't just acoustic? There was some electric stuff there too.
Yeah, no, he did. He said it was like rocking. But I think.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I just hope Dave doesn't shoot himself in the foot by giving up something really good with John 5 on guitar.
Yeah, but also maybe he wants to promote this new band because that's what he's selling. And John 5's not in his band.
I mean, maybe. And if those guys have the chops that can pull it off, then no problem. I mean, a good album is a good album.
Yeah.
And I'm less concerned with who's playing on it. And Dave has always been good at picking talent. But, man, I tell you, that DLR band album is fantastic. And I would love to hear Dave with John 5 doing another album. And I know it's done.
Yep, I know. And he also said in that interview that his priority was getting out on the road. Let's see this band. Let's show ourselves off. Let's travel all over the world. So I don't know if he's going to tour with this band or if Vegas is just a warm-up. I don't know what the hell he's thinking.
I think he's trying to tour with it because... You know, when that video came out, that was a showcase.
Yeah, that's what I want to get to next is Dave had this band rehearsal at SIR Studios in Los Angeles in September 26th. So the band played before a crowd of family and friends and invited guests. But what I really think this was, like you said, was a showcase because very often they like to book festivals way in advance, like festivals for next summer. And he came out and he played, I think it was like 5 songs. Ain't Talking About Love, Dance the Night Away, Running with the Devil, Panama, and Atomic Punk. This is what I've heard. Okay, and I've seen some of the clips. But a lot of the clips were pulled down, by the way, off of YouTube and Facebook. They were there for a few days, and then, you got to search for them. They keep popping up here and there. But the band does not sound tight. I got to be honest. It's very rough and raw. They're amateurs. These guys are like kids. They're really young. Eddie Trunk originally made a whole story on the air about how he was supposed to go to the damn thing and he got shut out because he's press. But he thinks that the band is prepping for some surprise club gig. But I don't think so. I think they were showcasing for festivals for next summer, 2020. Because that's where the money is, Dave, when they get invited to festivals like in Australia and Switzerland. They pay them big money to do that shit. So what do you think?
Oh, he definitely was showcasing to take the act on the road. I mean, I think that was. I mean, I think somebody had stated that somewhere along the line.
Right.
So I think, So I think that's what he's doing. And I admit all the videos I saw were taken with a phone,
Right.
and not